Ah, now you can hear me. All I was saying was welcome back. Good to be back. And today we're going to be looking at the very fundamentals and basics of HTML. Honestly, this is not really anything that is regularly used in today's web developments, but I believe that understanding the context and understanding what actually is the core root of all of these different syntaxes, it could help with understanding things in the future. Like we'll definitely be going over JavaScript, for example. So let's get started. I've already kind of dived in a little bit, so we're in the very middle. And I also want to mention that we will be having more of a quiet stream. I won't be talking so much other than just reading out the instructions. And we'll go from there. All right. Okay. All right, so we are building a curriculum. I've already added two elements into our code, an H1 and an H2. Welcoming you to Free Code Camp, which is what we're using for our curriculum and our guidance. And then we've got the full stack curriculum. All right, full stack curriculum, learning how to both work on the front end and the back end of any web development. All right, so below the other two lines of text, learn the skills to become a full stack developer. Doing it all from the beginning here. I guess it means another H2 tag. And we close our tags. The code passes. Oh, it literally just wanted me to write that without H2 or H1. Okay, that's fine. Turning this line into a paragraph element. P for paragraph. And close it. There are 6 heading elements in HTML. H1 through H6. They're used to show the importance of sections on your web page, with H1 being the most important and H6 being the least. Below your parent element, add an H3 heading with the following text. So below, okay. Introduction to HTML. On the far right side, this is what the web page we're literally building would look like if it was loaded on a browser. The center here is our code that we're writing, and then on the far left, the instructions. All right, let's continue. Notice that each heading looks a little different in the preview. Same with the paragraph. Huh. Notice that each heading looks a little different in the preview. Same with the paragraph. Yeah, of course, because you got H1, which is the biggest one, H2, and H3. But if next, add another P element that displays the following text, which represents the content and structure of the web page. Okay, let's do it. HTML represents the content and structure of a web page. getting the hang of it. Still don't see how this looks any different than that, but okay. You're getting the hang of it. Next, add another H3 element at the bottom of the editor with the text Introduction to CSS. While HTML defines the structure and content of a web page, CSS is used to add style, things like colors, fonts, spacing, and layout. Yeah, CSS, I can't remember what the C stands for, but it's something style sheet. It's kind of like an Excel spreadsheet, but with a bunch of different syntax and terminology that determines things like colors and, you know, style things, different fonts, all that. Well, let's do it. Below the H3 you just added, add another paragraph element with this text. CSS is used to style a web page. Finally, JavaScript makes your web page interactive. It lets you tell the page what to do, and when someone clicks a button, submits a form, or many other things. So we're looking at three things right now. We've got HTML, we've got the CSS that goes with it, and finally the real icing on the cake is the JavaScript. For the last step of the workshop, add an H3 and P element to the page describing JavaScript. First, add an H3 element text. Huh. Alright, let's do it. Introduction to JavaScript. I'm a little shocked because I actually haven't done JavaScript at all yet, so here's my first little taste. But we're learning it together. Okay, just because I added a period. Watch. That's crazy. If it's not there, I mean, that's really good practice, though, because any small punctuation mark or symbol that doesn't belong, you know, depending on the syntax and everything, could really mess up what you're looking at. So, good practice. All right, build a curriculum. We did it. Debug Camperbot's profile page. This is a lab. Ooh. Let's do it. Alright, first let's read what the web page looks like here. The first thing that we see is hello from Camperbot. About my name is Camperbot. About, oh weird. About, my name is Camperbot and I love learning new things. Background and interests, I enjoy solving puzzles. It looks so weird because like, these are the same. Alright, that's probably what we're going to be fixing here. Oh! Who could see the problems? Anything that doesn't look right in this code? Alright, I'll tell you. First of all, we don't write out heading 2. We just write H2, so that's a wrong element. And then also the paragraph element, it's not double P, it's just 1. That's why this looks like it's part of H3. Because it's just written. Huh. Alright, well, let's make sure that everything... Oh, look at this. Test. Oh, cool. Okay, this will be fun. Alright. So, debugging Camperbot's profile page. Camperbot is trying to build a profile page. They asked a friend to look over their code and they said it has some errors. Your job is to fix all of Camperbot's errors so they can continue building their profile page. Complete the items in the user stories below and click Check Your Code to see if you have fixed all the errors. User stories. Camperbot is trying to use a heading 2 element, but the element does not exist. Fix those tags so they use correct second level heading element. Camperbot is trying to add 2 paragraphs with PP, but those don't exist either. Fix them to solve the correct paragraph tags. And Camperbot is using an H3 element for the background and interest subheading, but has a syntax error. Spot the issue and resolve it. Alright. Let's start with heading 2. That'll be easy to fix, right? Okay. Now we'll do the paragraph. Okay. Now, what is the syntax error of this one? Aha, look at that. The / is behind the H3. Should be before it. Alright, let's see if everything before we... What was that? Ask so crates? No, I'm good. Alright. Page definitely looks better. Background and interests, about me, or about section. Okay. You should have exactly one H1 element on the page. This is correct. You should not remove H1 hello from Camperbot. Okay. Should have exactly one H2 element on this page. Also correct. You should have an H2 element with the text about. Here's an example. You should have a paragraph element with the text, my name is Camperbot, I love learning new things. You should have a paragraph element with the text, I enjoy solving puzzles. Here's an example. You should have a paragraph element with, okay. Should have exactly 2 paragraph elements on the page. Should have exactly one H3 element on the page. Should have an H3 element with the text background and interest. Here's an example. And you should have exactly 5 total elements on the page. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good to test. Woo! Wow, we did it. Alright, let's go to theory next. Alright. What role does HTML play on the web? HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is a markup language for creating web pages. When you visit a website and see content like paragraphs, headings, links, images, and videos, that's HTML. Here's a small example using HTML elements. Try editing some of the text in the editor and see the changes update in the preview window. HTML represents the content and structure of a web page through the use of elements. Most elements will have an opening tag and a closing tag. Sometimes those tags are referred to as start and end tags. In between those 2 tags, you will have the content. This content can be text or other HTML elements. Here is another example of a paragraph element. Change the text in the editor to say, I love coding. Sweet. Both opening and closing tags start with a left angle bracket and end with a right angle bracket, with the tag name placed between these angle brackets. While HTML tag names are case insensitive, it is widely accepted convention and the best practice to write them in lowercase. Here is an example, a closer look at the opening and closing paragraph tags. P and /P. So I was just saying we don't normally use capital P. And you could. You could. As a matter of fact, let's go back up a little bit and let's make this capital just to show. P and P. Look at that. It still works. No break. What distinguishes an opening tag from a closing tag is the / placed immediately after the left angle bracket in a closing tag. Some HTML elements do not have a closing tag. These are known as void elements. So if there's not a closing tag, it just never ends. It just goes out into the empty void. Just some way you can remember it. Here's an example of an image element, which is a void element. So really, I guess if you were to think of the start and the end, you're just looking at the angle brackets for these special types. Notice this image element does not have the closing tag and it does not have any content. Void elements cannot have any content and only have a start tag. Sometimes you'll see a void element that use a / before the greater than symbol, like this. Oh man, this is a great song. We're gonna all take a moment to enjoy this beautiful song. Woo! That's a really pretty song. I like that. Now, to compliment on that too, and to take just a moment of a break, I'm going to switch cameras. Well, it's me, and I'm going to share something I have. I have one of those music boxes. I'm sure you've seen it advertised before. It's really a popular thing on social media. They make it with every single theme of every song you could think of. And my sister gave me one. It's really, really cool. It's actually with Zelda and the Song of Storms. So I'm going to go grab that real quick, and then we'll continue. We'll go right back to where we left off. Here it is. And let's see if I can get it to be heard by the microphone. Okay, hang on. Put it really close. Well, I don't think it was heard, unfortunately, because I could see the feedback, and I think I've got the noise filtering on, so it probably filters out everything that's not my voice. But trust me, it's really cool. It's a little music box, plays the same song, Song of Storms, and yeah, let's get back to it then. So we were here. All right. So we're talking about void elements here. Image is a void element. While many code formatters, oh wait, sometimes you'll see void elements that use them. Yeah, okay. While many code formatters like Prettier will choose to include the uh, / and void elements, the HTML spec states that the presence of the / does not mark the start tag as self-closing, but instead is unnecessary and has no effect of any kind. In real-world development, you will see both forms, so it's important to be familiar with both. If you want to display an image, you will need to include a couple of attributes inside of your image element. An attribute is a special value used to adjust the behavior of an HTML element. Here's an example of an image element with a source attribute. Update the value of the source attribute to, you will see the image change to 2 cats peacefully sleeping. Aww. The source attribute is used to specifically, no, there we go. To specify the location for that image. For image elements, it's good to practice to include another attribute called the alt attribute. The alt attribute is used to provide short descriptive text for the images. It's whenever you take your mouse and you hover it over an image and a little text box comes up and says, you know, what you're looking at, that's what the alt attribute is. So try breaking the image by updating the CRC value. I want to know, why does this one break it? Let's find out. HTTPS. Is that literally it? They took out the CDN? Yep, that's literally it. They just took out a CDN. Huh, interesting. Gotta make sure those web links are right. Alright, let's continue. So you might be wondering if HTML by itself is enough to build a website. Well, the answer is, it depends. If you're building a small practice project that only displays the text and images, HTML alone might be sufficient. Hang on 1 second. Alright, so, Alright, so basically, if you're doing a little project, you can use just HTML if you're just showing like some text or some picture or something like that. But if you want to make like a modern example for a company or something like this, it's better to have some CSS for styling and JavaScript to polish it off. HTML is content and structure. CSS is for styling. JavaScript is for adding interactivity to your web pages. Interactivity. A good analogy for this is to compare HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with a complete building. HTML represents the blocks, concrete, and the iron that make up the walls. It is the foundation that makes the building strong. CSS represents the interior and exterior design that makes the building look beautiful. the painting and the artwork and things like that. JavaScript represents the electrical and water system that ensures uninterrupted access to water and electricity. All right, we've got some trivia. Let's go. If there were like several people in the stream and watching, I would actually love to, make it a fun interactive thing. But I believe we don't have too many viewers at the moment, and that's okay, because we'll just do it together. If you have a guess, feel free to write. All right, what does HTML stand for? Which one? Which one? Which one? Hypertext Maker, Hypertext Marker Language, Hypertext Markdown, or Hypertext Markup? That's the question. That's the question. All right. Okay, let's get to it then. The answer is markup language. Hypertext markup language. Which of the following is the correct syntax for a closing tag? So which is correct for closing? Do we use like 3 slashes, 1 slash, just P, or semicolon P? The answer is /P. Which of the following is a valid attribute used inside the image tag? Bold closing div source. Woo! All right. Okay, we're gonna have to pause there for now. I actually have some other commitments that I need to go handle. But I would like to just say thank you guys so much for joining. Really appreciate you guys and your support. Glad to be back, and hopefully we'll do some more like gaming and stuff in the future too. All right, take care. Goodbye.